Fatima, how did you make this your black skirt? Fatima, is there a tutorial for your black skirt? I didn't film while sewing this black skirt, but guess what? I actually sew another one. So this tutorial will be all about this black skirt. So you can see this fabric here is called puff puff fabric. While I got this one at the market to replace that one, and I created this cute one. So that's what this tutorial was going to be all about. But it's same thing with that one, just that this one doesn't have zipper, while the first one has a zipper at the back. But even with that first one fabric, you might not even need a zipper. So let's get to it. Hi guys, my name is Fatima Yusuf, and on this platform I share sewing tutorials. Firstly, don't forget to subscribe, and let's just get straight to it. So I got 1.5 yard of this fabric. It's stretchy. Even the one I had before, the puff puff fabric, is also stretchy. So you don't need a zipper for stretchy fabric, but it's based on your choice. So I got 1.5 yards. I'm going to give it 2 folds, and then I'll be folding in such a way that I'm going to have 0.5 inch or 1 inch for zipper allowance or your slit allowance. Depends on how much fabric you have. So to know how much fabric you need, make sure you can get your hip circumference. It's all good if it's elastic. If your fabric is not elastic, make sure you have your hip circumference plus like 5 inches or 4 inches. You get? So I already gave it 1 fold. So this is the second fold. I'll fold in such a way that the open part will be my slit allowance, because this one won't have a zip. There won't be zipper, so I'll fold like this. The fabric is stretchy and it's kind of light, so it's kind of moving, so I had to carefully fold it. Like I said, I got 1.5 yards, so it depends on your hip circumference. That's just what you need to get the fabric. So I'm just going to fold like this. So for the slits allowance, I use 0.5 inch. You can use 1 inch if you want. So I'm done folding here. So first I'm going to mark 2 inches. That will be for my band. When I'm done sewing, I should be having 1 inch. So I'll place it on 1 inch, and then from that 1 inch I'm going to mark my skirt length, my hip line, 9 inches first, right? After 9 inches, that's my hip line, I'm going to mark my full skirt length. I'm sorry, I didn't know it was out of the frame. So I marked 45 inches and I added 2 more inches. That's 47 inches. But you can do 1 inch for your allowance if you like. But I love my skirt to be very long. So that's how I marked it. Now under your waistline, you divide your waist circumference by 4 and mark it. You can even minus 1 inch from your waist circumference since the fabric is elastic. But I felt like, okay, let me add 1 inch allowance instead of dotting. But please, when you have a stretchy fabric, minus 1 inch from your waist measurements. So on my hip, I did same thing. I added 0.5 inch to my hip allowance. That was all I was able to get. So I joined the 2 points together, and there's a straight line that will just go to the full length, right? So what I said, on your waist, minus 1 inch from your waist. Let's say like now you divide your waist by I can say my waist divided by 4 is 7. I'll now mark 6. You get? But you can mark the 7, or you mark 6.5 so that you can have 0.5 to sew. Yes, minus 0.5 for me, so you can have 0.5 to sew. But me, I added only 1 inch, right? You see why I said you should just maintain that your hip circumference by 4. Now I'll just go ahead, I'll cut the down part. That's my full length plus 2 inches. So after cutting that down part, I'm going to cut the sides, and then I will slit the I had to cut the sides, this other side that is closed. I'll cut because that's the 2 sides for the back and the front piece. So that's what I'm going to do. After cutting, right, the next thing is to stitch your back pieces together, because you'll be having 2 pieces for the back, while the front piece will just be 1. So for the back pieces, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch that 0.5 inch that I left for the zipper allowance or your slit allowance. Depends on if you want it to have a zip. You get? So that's what I'm going to be doing. So this is just me trying to cut out my piece first. I'm done cutting, and you can see, so we have 2 pieces here for our back piece. So I'm going to stitch that 0.5 inch, right? But firstly, I'm going to mark how long I want my slit to be. So it depends on how long you want it to be open. So for mine, I went ahead to mark 15 inches, and inward of that I'll mark that 0.5 inch. Now from the beginning of my skirt, that's the waistline, to that 15 inches, right, to where I marked, now I will use a very tight stitch. When I got to where my slit will start from, I top stitched, and then I hemmed the slit opening. You just have to fold in twice, 0.25, 0.25. You fold and then you stitch. So I'll show you the direction I stitched. So this is it. So I fold in twice and I just stitch like this. When I go up, I went up a little bit about 0.5 to the initial place that I marked, and I went to the other side and I took it down. So that was how I stitched it. Now I'm going to stitch the right face of each of the fabric together. That means I'll place the right face of my front piece on it, and then I'll just stitch it. So this was where I found out I would have minus 0.5 inch or 1 inch from my waist measurement. So I stitched and it was very loose on me, so you see I had to remove extra 0.5 inch. That's why, so when you divide your hip by 4, minus 0.5 inch from it, so that I can use the rest of 0.5 inch to sew. That will be your allowance. Now I'll fold in my band area and then I'll stitch, then I hem the down part, and that was how I came about with the skirt. Very easy to make and it won't take much of your time. Yeah, it was same way I made the one I had at first, just that the one I had at first had a zipper. That's the difference. And like I said, even that one I can do without a zip because it's also elastic. So if this video has been helpful, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and I will see you guys in another video. Thank you.